Hello, I'm Searcy. Welcome to a new edition of Bred to Win. Coming up on this week's show, we return to Darley Kelvinside and bring you the magnificent Traffic Warden and his high-class sire Street Boss standing at Northwood Park in Victoria. And we find record-breaking Everest winner Yes in his new home at Gooree Park Stud and catch up on all his recent winners on the track. And my own Willoughby, a regular on our Bred to Win shoots, visiting all the stud dogs around the country. A regular on our Bred to Win shoots in Cambridge Studs, Stud Dogs of Australasia. First though, we recap on some great racing and more in our Aushorse News.
Ready and away. Private Eye bounced away fast and goes to the lead from Desert Lightning and Here to Shock.
Saturday racing featured proven stakes performers showing they're back for the spring and exciting three-year-olds taking another step towards future success.
But it's still Private Eye. 100 metres to go. Dashes for home. It is home.
Caulfield featured the Group 2 PB Lawrence Stakes and the return of one of Australia's elite sprinters, Private Eye, for Joe Pride and proven thoroughbreds. A son of Al Maher, he's from a Shamadal mare and absolutely dominated his rivals in his spring return. Private Eye has now won nearly $12.4 million, an Epsom winner 4 years ago, and having won another 5 group races, he was also placed in several Group 1s and in 2 runnings of the Sprint Championship, the Everest. Now an 8-year-old Private Eye has shown great toughness and strength in 44 starts as a 2019 Adelaide Magic Millions yearling sold for $62,500 by Ambergate Farm to proven thoroughbreds and trainer Joe Pride. There were also 2 3-year-old group features at Caulfield. Jimmy Ricard taking out the Vane Stakes, a son of I Am Invincible. He's from the Alamosa mare Aquamosa, bred by Vinnie's breeder Gall Bloodstock and sold as a Magic Millions yearling for $350,000 by Yarraman Park to Bennett Racing and trainer Kieran Maher. I Am Invincible, 3-time champion Australian sire and runner-up to Zoostar last season, stands this year at Yarraman Park at a fee of $220,000. The Quezette Stakes was won by the daughter of Astern for Rivia for Philip Stokes. The filly is from the Not a Single Doubt mare Streetcar Express, while Astern was sent to Turkey to bolster that country's breeding ranks.
Skyhook, a narrow leader from Grand Prairie.
In Sydney, the 3-year-old feature, the Rosebud, was won by Skyhook for Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexio, a son of Written Tycoon, who quinelled the race with the son of Vidora Grand Prairie. Skyhook is from a full sister to a striker and 3/4 sister to another group winner and young Widden sire Anders. Skyhook was a $575,000 Magic Millions Gold Coast yearling sold by Arrowfield Stud to his trainers. Now 23, Written Tycoon stands for a private fee at Yulong in Victoria. And Golden Slipper winner Farnan had an exciting 3-year-old winner at Rose Hill earlier in the day as Ninja won over 1,300 metres. He was bred by John Camilleri and sold for $380,000 by Sedgenho Stud through Magic Millions to My Racehorse.
Really burnt the candle at both ends.
After previewing the stallion career of broadsiding a few weeks ago, it was quite apparent his then stablemate Traffic Warden was not far off being a Golden Rose winner himself. A grandson of elite broodmare Dexterous, he was a dual Group 2 winner and another example of the wonderful progeny thrown by his Victorian-based sire Street Boss.
Traffic Warden lunges and got up.
Arvin, we've talked before obviously about the great history of the stallions that have stood here at Darley Kelvinside in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. We're looking today at Traffic Warden, a son of Street Boss, obviously, who's had Animo, we know already, and he's a son of Street Cry Street Boss. So to have this, again, another generation of this incredible dynasty standing here, there must be so much interest in him already heading into the season.
Absolutely. Traffic Warden has been oversubscribed in his first year here at Darley Kelvinside. Like you mentioned, he's by one of our great stallions from our great sire line in Street Cry by Street Boss. Street Boss has been a wonderful servant for Darley here in Australia. You think of horses like Champion Animo. This year he had probably the best 2-year-old filly in Tempted, and then we had a very, very exciting colt for next season in Tentaris, who won the Todman, and they're all by Street Boss. On top of that, Traffic Warden was one of his flag bearers this season. He was precocious, he was sharp. He ran in all the important Group 1 2-year-old races. He ran in a Blue Diamond, he ran in the Slipper, he was beaten in a photo in the Size Produce. You know, he was very precocious, he was very fast, but more importantly, when you see him, he's very tough, he's very strong. He took all those races in his stride and just kept going and kept improving.
Traffic Warden being joined by Coleman, Manal wide out.
Well, as well as that impressive second to Manal in the ATC size, he won the Victorian size, the VRC size Produce Stakes. And again, that's another race where you're seeing these horses, these 2-year-olds, just getting out from just being a sprint trip.
Absolutely, and it was a wonderful performance that day. He jumped out, he made a run in, and they just couldn't lay a glove on him. They couldn't get near him when he was able to use his natural speed, and then when he kicked on, he put lengths in between his rivals. It was a really dominating performance, and I think that's the race where we stood up and thought we have a real serious 2-year-old on our hands, a really exciting horse moving forward into the season.
It's a no just in front from Traffic Warden.
Well, the Run to the Rose, you know, he's gone on with the job. He's beaten a Node and Stormboy and Linebacker in the Run to the Rose. So, you know, at 3, you want to see these horses stepping up, and Traffic Warden did that.
That was a fantastic performance on that day at Rose Hill. He really trained on from his 2-year-old campaign, and then as a 3-year-old, he beat some of the best 3-year-olds in the country. Future Group 1 winners included, and he was really dominant that day. And as soon as he crossed the line, we knew straight away that he's a really exciting 3-year-old moving forward, and his next start was going to be in the Group 1 Golden Rose.
Broadsiding and Traffic Warden, they'll fight it out.
When we did the broadsiding story, as you said, there can only be one winner, and it was broadsiding, which is great. But gee, it was a great run, wasn't he? You know, just beaten by his stablemate in that Group 1 Golden Rose in a Godolphin Quinella.
Absolutely. Although it's fantastic to have the first and second in a Group 1, it was a bit unfair on Traffic Warden because he really deserved that Group 1 win. He again, only a photo and a whisker separated him from that Group 1 success, but what a fantastic win. And for any horse to be able to run broadsiding that close, you have to be a very, very talented racehorse.
Well, I just love the Darley Woodlands history that you have, and obviously that the bloodlines that the Darley team have continued on through the Woodlands dynasty. Dexterous, of course, Traffic Warden is from an Exceed and Excel mare who's a daughter of Dexterous, who won a Sandown Guineas but produced Ambidexter, Sidestep, a sire of a Golden Slipper winner, Skilled, a Group 1 winning 2-year-old, and Willoughby, a VRC Oaks winner. So the dam side of Traffic Warden is one of the greatest that's been developed here through Darley and going back through Woodlands.
One of the things that has been the backbone of Godolphin and Darley's success here in Australia is those rich woodland families. And then they've been carefully cultivated with Godolphin's operation, and Traffic Warden is the results of those really important breeding lines, really important families that we're so lucky to have. And like you say, you've got Champion 2-year-olds, you've got a VRC Oaks winner in a family. They're some of the most important races in the Australian calendar, and Traffic Warden's family is littered everywhere with it.
Animo holding on, Animo, this time for the big A.
Street Boss, as I said, sire already of Animo, who was a Cox Plate winner, elite 9-time Group 1 winner by Street Cry. We know, of course, the deeds of the wonderful Street Cry. But as I said, that Street Boss, or Street Cry Exceed and Excel cross is so exciting. And Street Boss himself, he's just a magnificent looking horse, isn't he? There's so much speed about him, which is fascinating for a son of Street Cry.
Absolutely. Street Boss himself was, you know, an elite sprinter, but he's left us some amazing racehorses. Fast, tough, sound, great in the minds. We're very lucky with some of the horses we have, and you know, we're very fortunate that we've still got more exciting progeny by Street Boss to follow, not least Tentaris, who will be returning as a 3-year-old, and Tempted, who will also be returning as a 3-year-old. But like you said as well, Traffic Warden is out of an Exceed and Excel mare by Street Boss from the Street Cry sire line. Darley have been unbelievably successful with those stallions. Exceed and Street Cry have been two of the best stallions that Darley have ever stood globally, internationally recognized stallions. And we're so lucky that Traffic Warden is a combination of both the Street Cry line out of Exceed mare, and on top of that, Cylinder is by Exceed and Excel out of a Street Cry mare. He was one of the best 2-year-olds of his year, won a Todman, a Silver Slipper, and then went on to win a new market where he beat horses like Imperatrice, 10-time Group 1 winner. So those two stallions have been the backbone of Darley's success, Exceed and Excel and Street Cry. And we're just so lucky that we have two stallions on the roster that represent both branches of that successful bloodline.
When I look at Traffic Warden, I see a lot of Exceed and Excel in him. I mean, there's, you know, the black points, his head, when you get up close to him, it's like, oh, the jowl, you know, everything. He's got a big round barrel, really powerful looking horse, isn't he?
Absolutely, and that's one of the most important things about Traffic Warden is his physical. He's strong, short coupled, great girth, really broad across the chest. You can see where the power comes from, and a great hip. He really does epitomise the Australian speed, and that of course comes from Exceed and Excel, who's one of the best sire of juveniles and sprinters, and Traffic Warden is very much in his mould with that strength, substance. But one of the things that really stands out for me is the way he covers the ground. He looks like a sprinter, he's strong like a sprinter, but he covers the ground like a beautiful miler. He's fantastically athletic. He's a real credit to us here at Darley Kelvinside.
Well, again, you know, the point of these whole stories, it is a business, is to tell broodmare owners what sort of a mare should they be sending to a horse like Traffic Warden.
The mares that we feel would really suit Traffic Warden, if you're looking to add a bit of speed, a bit of precocity, a bit of strength to your mare, Traffic Warden ticks all those boxes. He's got that in abundance, class, strength, substance. So he'll suit a really diverse range of broodmares here in Australia, but if you're looking to get precocity, speed and strength, he's definitely your source.
And of course, you know, the stallion parades are all coming up, and it's a great opportunity for people to get up here to Kelvinside and have a look at these stallions. It's really worthwhile coming and seeing them. Of course, it's great to show them on TV, but yeah, come and have a look at them as well if you can. It should be a great weekend.
We can't wait to have our annual Darley Stallion Parade here at Darley Kelvinside on the 23rd of August, and we really do encourage people to come, make a day of it, come to the beautiful Hunter Valley, just see our beautiful facilities, and more importantly, come and see some of these wonderful stallions that we're so very proud to be custodians of. We love when people come to the farm because I think it's a great event. It's very unique, but also you get to get up close and personal with the elite athletes of our sport.
The great Street Cry legacy set to continue further through Street Boss and Traffic Warden. Coming up after the break, we return to Gooree Park Stud and visit record-breaking 3-year-old winner of the Everest, Yes, 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 thanks to Barristock. This segment of Bred to Win brought to you by Barristock, trusted by Australia's leading studs and backed by Kentucky Equine Research. Horses come first. Last week on Bred to Win, we showed you the living history that is Gooree Park Stud. And this week, we look at Yes, 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 a record-breaking 3-year-old winner of the Everest. And his owners have moved him to a new region to find a different cohort of mares. And he is incredible value considering the amount of winners he's been getting in recent months. Julia, a horse like Yes, 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 we know you've been involved in a lot of very good horses over a lot of time, but you've become involved in the ownership group of this Everest winner, record-breaking 3-year-old Everest winner. Tell me what it was that made you so interested in taking a bigger chunk of this horse and then bringing new people in to support him.
I think he was possibly one of the most unrealised racehorses because of retiring a bit early because of tendon issues. Of what he was showing us as a racehorse, you knew would have to be passed on. Now, I think the horse needed time to develop, getting the right progeny out there and out in the races. The fact of it is I wasn't alone in that. Nearly nearly 50% of the owners felt the same way. And so when the horse became available for sale, where Coolmore, I understand Coolmore work at a very global level with their horses and have timelines on it. But when it came up, it was a no-brainer that we were all prepared to support this horse, to give him more time and make his mark in the breeding and racing industry. So it really was a no-brainer.
You obviously know the Gooree Park team, Eduardo Cuenco, the late Eduardo Cuenco and his whole family, who are so invested, as we showed recently on the show, in, you know, perpetuating the great history of Gooree Park Stud. You can tell they're really proud to have this horse.
And look, we are proud and really thrilled that they actually want to have the horse there. Their investment in the industry has been up there with the best. I think their reinvestment into their own farm has been amazing. It is an amazing setup. I actually love the locality of it, where it's just out of the Hunter, but it's accessible to where a lot of mares are, or the mares can go there. I think they've got a rich history of breeding very good racehorses as well as having stallions. Again, a bit of a no-brainer. We were really thrilled when we could make that deal with them, because it was the most obvious one that worked the best for the horse, we think.
Yes, yes, yes is going well, powering to the line and comes clear.
We talk about him as the Everest winner at 3, but he won at Flemington as a 2-year-old and then at Moonee Valley, also in December of his 2-year-old year. Came back and won the Todman. Now, you know, people think only of that Everest, but he was an elite 2-year-old. That was his first start for Chris Waller, and he won in record time in that time-honoured 2-year-old race too.
Yes, yes, yes. Sustains the runner. Moving up to Bellevue Hill. Yes, yes, yes.
It's really interesting that he was showing he had all that talent then, which really did get realised as a 3-year-old. I must admit, you look at the moment, his 3-year-olds are leaving their mark across the board with what I think he had, 48 winners in his last season. They were 3-year-olds for most of them. That was an incredible turnout. I think he will throw 2-year-olds as well, but the obvious area at the moment, again, because the Everest and the market's leaving, it's now got a Group 1 status, and I think it was mostly at that level of quality when he won anyway. It just didn't have the group status that went with it.
It's yes, yes, yes. Laying it down to Bivouac.
Well, he came back as a 3-year-old. He was second to the elite sprinter Bivouac and in front of Exceedance in the Run to the Rose, the same placings in the Group 1 Golden Rose, but he went straight to the Everest, and as I said, a 3-year-old in track record time, beating those tough proven sprinters, Nature Strip, Red Cell, Classic Legend, Sunlight, Santa Ana Lane. You know, you say those names and you think, wow, this horse beat them.
Personally, it was one of the classiest and best quality Everest we've ever had. The horses' names that you've just reeled off have not only been champions here, but on a global stage as well, with Nature Strip taking it to the world. So I do think that part of it is amazing. But you look at the other horses he was competing with, who've all now gone to stud. Bivouac, Exceedance, you know, they're all out there. And I think he's in the same, ilk as all of them. Well, I'm looking forward to this season. We're getting a lot of support for him, which is great. So bring it on, I say.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, the pedigree, his sire Rubik by Costa de Lago from 3/4 sister to Reduced Choice. And, you know, he's the sire of a young Group 1 winning stallion in Jacquinot. And his dam, of course, by Fantastic Light. So you get that longevity you can see in the pedigree. But you look at the winners that he's had. You know, Firm Agreement, placed in the Spring Champion, second in the ATC Derby to the star filly Aliana for Triple Crown. Yes Queen won the Crystal Slipper in WA, second in the Supremacy and the Gym Crack over there. What a winner, won 4 or 5 to this point in WA. Pretty Powerful, who you mentioned, won 2 in summer, including in Sydney. Wee, bred by Kate Nivens. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Use a Pin won a Saturday Rosehill race just a short time ago. There are so many winners consistently that we're seeing now.
And it's across the board. And that's the thing you love, that, and I think again it gets back to his price point as a stallion, of the ability to recover your investment by the quality of races he can win, whether it's country, provincial or metropolitan, whether it's a midweek or a Saturday. There's definitely an upside to an investment in a yes in that respect. So I do think also in the horse names you've just reeled out, I think maybe we've got 12 or 13 of them who are going to be hitting back in spring, which could not be timed better in a lot of ways with a season unfolding around it, that people will turn around and make last-minute decisions even, as I think Firm Agreement will be a force to reckon with. I really do. I think he's a horse on the way up. I think Wee is mostly one of the most underestimated horses at the moment. And if you listen to Kate, it's already a champion anyway, which you want also people like Kate and other breeders to actually enjoy that ride that goes with investing in a horse, taking a risk and getting such a great result.
You bred Mrs. Goldberg, who won the English bonus, the $100,000 at Coffs Harbour just in early August as well. So is the idea, you know, $16,500 for a service fee, is the idea for people really to be breeding to race?
I think so, because the fact of it is that price point. I mean, really, when you look who he's up against in the same price point, and he's more proven than most of them, which is the interesting thing. In fact, all you need to win is like 2 races and you've recovered everything. I mean, well, the old rule of thumb was what, 5 times the service fee. Now his yearlings minimum are selling for 70 to 100. So straight away you've already recouped your investment if you're a breeder, and that's before you're actually buying them as racehorses. So I do think from my side, I mean, I'm sending possibly 3 mares this year now back to him, because he's also throwing lovely types. So I think, as again, watch this space.
And there's a level of support out there too. I mean, you've donated some service fees to some charities, and you know, the Owners Association, the big function coming up. And it's great to see people really wanting to be able to send mares to him that way.
No, and he realised his value. The bloodstock auction went very, very well. It's gone to a breeder. I've also put up one of my noms as well for the Racehorse Owners Night of Champions, which is also their 60th year this year, can you believe it? And put that up as well, because there'll be a room full of breeders and owners in there. And I do think by that stage, they'll start to see even more of his progeny start to come back, which is great.
Well, we've seen wee. I think we will be seeing some really more interesting names coming out with all the yeses and plenty more success to come.
I must admit, I've looked up on my computer now how to say yes in 46 languages. So I'm happy to offer suggestions to anybody. But I have to say, you even look at the names of some of them already that have followed suit on that, which is just great. As I said, this is looking to be a very exciting spring for the horse and for the owners of his progeny.
Yes. A great option for broodmare owners, particularly if you're breeding to race. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win in Cambridge Studs, stud dogs, my own kelpie, Willoughby, who loves getting around all the properties in New South Wales, visiting the canines, equines and humans. And he's a particular favourite of our exceptional cameraman, Russell Scarf.
Well, I've been travelling with Wills for about 7 years, and he's definitely part of the crew. He keeps a smile on our face every day, and he's great company at night. Caroline's always working all day and on the computer all night, so Wills keeps me company, and he's just a pleasure to be around.
That is Bred to Win. I'm Caroline Searcy, and Willoughby will join you again soon.
When we're filming, he loves hanging around the tripod. He just sleeps under the tripod, and he knows when to be quiet when we're doing interviews. And he also doesn't mind a light stand. He loves to have a little nap under a light stand, but he's a good dog and he actually understands what we're doing. He knows when to be quiet, he knows when to behave, and he's just a great member of the crew. All the other dogs and all the farms love him, they all know him. As soon as he turns up, they all run around together and are so happy to see each other. Everyone on the farms love him, he makes everyone smile, and he's just a great dog. And basically he doesn't do anything without us. If we go out for dinner at one of the local pubs, we would make sure we sit outside, and he's always with us there. He's with us inside the cottages that we stay in. He watches TV with us, he cuddles me on the lounge, so he's great company to hang around with. But there's one thing I won't do, and that's pick up his poo.
A real character, Willoughby, and I reckon he wishes he could stay a bit longer at some of those magnificent stud farms. That is it for this week on Bred to Win. Join me again next week as we profile intriguing new Arrowfield stallion and elite European 2-year-old Van Dijk, new in 2025. That and much more next week. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.